Okay, this video is for Spanish 4. We're going to be talking about positive and negative words. This is on your workbook on page 28. So you'll see this page on your workbook on page 28. Pretty much the bare bones basics of it, you just need to study it like a vocab word. Okay? Most of them are pretty straightforward. There's just a few of them that have some special little rules and a couple small little things that you need to know, but it's nothing that's super huge. The only thing is it's a little bit different than how you would do it in English. So you just have to think outside of the box a little bit. Okay? Over here on the left, these are all the positive words. Some of them you already know, like siempre, también, y, o, etc. So at least half or more, you already know them. But I have the word here with the definition used in a sentence as an example. Positive words are pretty straightforward. Like these here, you're going to need to make sure that if you match it masculine, feminine, singular, plural, like there is a table, excuse me. You could also do una. Una mesa would express the same thing. It's just algún or alguno or alguna is another way to express the word for a. And the same with some. It's the same as unos and unas, but you could just use word algunos and algunas, like compré algunos lápices. I bought some pencils. Okay? Positive words are pretty straightforward, not a whole bunch that's very tricky or different or irregular of those. The negative words are a little bit different. Here's your list again of negative words with translations. And that with the translations and them put into example sentences. Here are some things, a list of things that you need to know. The two main things I've highlighted here in yellow that are not highlighted on your workbook. But you are allowed to double negative in Spanish. For example, in English, we don't use double negatives. A double negative is when you have two negative things in the sentence. Like, I don't do any, or I don't do, that's a horrible example. Why can't I think of an example of a double negative off the top of my head? But I didn't eat nothing. That would be a double negative. The I didn't and the nothing. So in English, we would say, I didn't eat anything, and the word anything is actually a positive word. But in Spanish, you do double negative. So even if you say no, like I didn't eat, no como, then you would say nada, no como nada, I didn't eat anything. Word for word it translates to I didn't eat nothing, which we don't say in English. But you do that in Spanish, you do double negative. Or for example, no hay ninguna pregunta. There aren't, even though this word doesn't translate to any, in English we would say there aren't any questions, but in Spanish we would say there are not any questions. It sounds very funky if you try to translate it word for word, but you do the double negative in Spanish. The other thing is in negative words, you don't pluralize. So for example, if I say in English, I would say I don't have any pens, plural. But in Spanish, if you don't have any pens, you would say, I don't have any pen. You keep the word singular if you don't have any. For example, los estudiantes no tienen ninguna tarea. The students don't have any homework. If I took this word homework out and I replaced it with books, then I would just say ningún libro, because I want to make sure that the book is singular because we don't have any. And that's what you need to know about positive and negative words. Mainly just study them like a vocab word.